everyone, Mama Mike here, and today is a quick video. These are my anime recommendations. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I've watched a few new shows recently, so I decided to make a quick video. So starting off is Yuri on Ice. Wow. This show really took me by surprise. I was interested in this show when I saw that it was coming to Funimation because I actually really do enjoy watching figure skating. When I was a kid, I used to figure skate. I was never very good, but I really did enjoy it. I always liked watching it. And so when I saw this show was announced, I thought, oh, I'll give this a try for sure. I was just waiting for all the episodes to be released so that I could binge watch it like I do everything. And so Yuri on Ice follows the story of Yuri Katsuki, who has had an underwhelming figure skating career. He truly loves figure skating, but he just doesn't have the self-confidence for him to really improve, and he's intimidated by the people that he really looks up to in the sport. He sees himself as so far below them that he really just doesn't compete well, and then the pressure gets to him and then he fails during his competitions. In what is the ultimate twist of fate for Yuri, one of the best skaters in the world, Viktor Nikiforov, has decided to become his coach for the season, and Yuri really does not know how to react. He is incredibly excited, but he's also terrified because this person that he could barely speak to before is now going to be mentoring and coaching him every day of his life. It is a really funny relationship from the start because Yuri is such a big fan of Viktor's, and it's just the whole dynamic right there is really comical, and they get into a lot of funny situations. And then as their friendship does start to grow and develop, they become even better friends, and Yuri becomes such a better skater with Viktor's help. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it is a great story of how friendship can impact your life in so many ways, and just the impact of having someone who believes in you, how powerful that truly is. And this show, though, is not all heartwarming. There is a lot of comedy in this show. It is a very funny show. Had me laughing so many times. On top of being a really feel-good story, there's a lot of humor here, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching this show. If you aren't super familiar with competitive figure skating, and it's something that I had forgotten a lot of the rules. I never skated competitively, but I used to watch the competitions a lot. But if you aren't super familiar with it, they do have a little breakdown of some of the rules very quickly in one of the episodes. And so then from that point onward, you'll understand more of what the announcers and everyone are talking about. The musical score for this show is fantastic. You really don't get sick of hearing the songs. They're amazing. The animation for this show is beautiful. From the first time that I saw the skating, it took my breath away. I'd never seen something so fantastic before. It looks incredible, right along with the amazing story and the music. This show all around is incredibly high quality, very well done. I loved the voice acting, I loved all of the characters in this show. I cannot recommend it enough, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be buying a couple t-shirts as well because I just love this show. I'm waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray because I really want to own this show for my collection. It is just something that has truly just, I don't know, I don't want to say it changed my life or anything like that. I don't want to sound like a weirdo. But it really did just make me feel a little bit more positive and a little bit more thankful for the friends that I have. Next on my show is Izetta the Last Witch. This show is set in an alternate take on 1940s Europe where the Germanian Empire is seeking to take over as many countries as possible. Princess Fine is doing all that she can to protect her country of Aelstadt, and she has to end up relying on the legend of the White Witch. I will not spoil anything about this show. The title right there is Izetta the Last Witch, so you know that there's something witchy involved here. It is amazing, and it's a really cool aspect of throughout the show, the legend of the White Witch is something that is very important to the country of Aelstadt, but for the most part it was believed to be a fairy tale, and that's something I really liked about this show. It was the same feeling of playing The Wolf Among Us, where here's something that everyone perceives to be a fairy tale, but what if it was true? That's the feeling that this show gives, and throughout the show it's just really gives you a kind of wonderment of, wow, what if some of these fairy tales we're also familiar with actually were real? And I really enjoyed that. It just gives a really neat feeling and tone to the show. This is a very serious show overall. There's not a lot of humor peppered in here. There's actually is a good amount of sad and, angry moments. It really does capture sort of the horrors of war. There's a lot of implied violence for this show. This show is TV-14, and I highly recommend not showing this to children because there is some implied violence that's almost sometimes worse than what you see on screen. And then there is some violence that is just directly shown. There is, some blood in this show. Nothing gory or gross, but this show really does show war. And it shows the heaviness of it and the betrayals, the political intrigue. It's an amazing show from start to finish. I was hooked. I really enjoyed this show immensely. But it very much shows the bad side of war. It doesn't paint war with a pretty face by any means. This shows the horror. It shows, young soldiers just going out to their deaths, basically. It shows a lot of the hopelessness of war. I don't want to say that it's some depressing story by any means, but this show is a war. It is a tiny country versus an empire. There's not a lot of hope, even with the legend of the White Witch at their side. It feels hopeless at times. You really will wonder what is going to happen next, and you'll just want to keep watching episode after episode, much like I did. I finished this series so quickly, but I highly recommend it. It is fantastic from start to finish, but like I said, it definitely warrants that TV-14 rating. And lastly on my list, this is a show that is family friendly. This is Shonen made, and I say that, but I don't want to discourage anyone because this show is not cheesy or childish by any means. It is not cringy where some of the jokes are just so bad because it's a kid's show. This show is rated PG, but I never had one moment where I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm way too old to be watching this. This show is adorable and has a lot of humor. The show is about Chihiro, and it starts off rather sad. This isn't a spoiler by any means. It's just right in the description of the show. Chihiro is an orphan, and he is going to live with his eccentric uncle. Because he has such a love and passion for cooking and cleaning, he has decided that instead of feeling sorry for himself, he will earn his keep and he will become the live-in housekeeper. He truly enjoys cooking and cleaning, and at such a young age, I believe he's only 10 years old, he just has such a talent for it as well. And you can tell he's just not your average kid. He doesn't really play video games or play outside. He just enjoys cooking and cleaning. He loves reading his cookbooks and looking at household magazines for vacuum cleaners and things. There's a lot of humor there just having a child who so much enjoys housework. And it really does sort of ease the sadness of the overall backstory that is peppered in throughout the series. There are some sad moments, but overall it's a very humorous show. It had me laughing a lot. I loved the voice cast for this show. I thought it was very well done. This is a show about someone who's very independent, learning to rely on other people when they need to. And so it's a message that anyone can benefit from. It is not overly sappy either. Like I said, this isn't a kid's show, and it's definitely not sappy. There's a lot of humor in it, but it does have a very nice message underneath all of that. I promise you that it's not overwhelmingly sad, even though he is an orphan. He has a very good outlook on life, and it's just a positive, like I said, lighthearted comedy that anyone could enjoy. So that was a quick list of what I've been watching lately. Those were my anime recommendations. Let me know in the comments below what you have been watching and if you have any shows that you recommend for me to check out. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Bye!